So before we begin, this is what you're going to need for today's journal. You're going to need a ruler, or you can use a straight edge. Sometimes I use an index card. You know, a thick piece of paper will work. And you need two different colors. They can be pens, markers, matte pencils, highlighters. Don't do permanent markers because they'll bleed through. Honestly, highlighters or matte pencils are probably the best because markers tend to bleed through. If you need to pause to go take care of both of those, go ahead and do that now, but I'm going to continue with the lesson. Alright, so we are going to be on page 30. Oh, no, we're on page 40 of our journal. Page 40 of our journal. Alright, so on the right side of page 40, okay, and this is going to be kind of in the upper half, we're going to draw a set of parallel lines. So I'm going to draw one line, and then I'm going to go down about 3 spaces, draw another parallel line. Okay, I'll put arrows on the end of both of those because parallel lines never cross, never intersect. And then I'm going to take my ruler and it's going to go at an angle where it meets where my page is numbered. I'm going to kind of do it in the middle, and I'm going to draw another line that cuts through it. Okay. On this, we're going to have that A parallel to B. That lets me know, A is parallel to B. I'm going to label this top line as A and this bottom line as B. We're also going to number these angles. So we're going to start up here on the top left, and we're going to do a 7, 8. Below the 7 is going to be a 5 and a 6. This is going to be a 3 and a 4, 1 and a 2. I'm going to give you one moment to get that down before we continue on. Alright, so you should have that down by now. So what we're going to do is we're going to be looking at a new concept where we're talking about parallel lines cut by a transversal. That is called a transversal, okay? And we are going to be looking at the angles that are formed when we do that. Alright, so we're going to start by labeling that this is called a transversal. Transversal. Transversal is just going to be a line that cuts through the other line, slices through it. And then I want you to pick up one of your colors. If you want to match mine, I'm starting with my pink. And I want you to put a dot at the 7, a big dot too, a dot at the 6, a dot at the 3, and a dot at the 2. And then we're going to take our other color, and we're going to put a dot at the 8. If we're going with my colors, I'm using a blue, and then a 5, and then a 4, and then the 2. Okay? So what we're doing here is we're labeling angles that are equivalent. Our angles that are all blue are all equal to each other. So if this 5, angle 5 right here, equals 40, then 8 is also going to equal 40, and 4 is going to equal 40, and 1 is going to equal 40. And the same thing with all of our pinks. They're all going to equal to each other. Okay? So we're going to review some words that you might have learned, that you should have learned in previous grades, and one of them is supplementary. And so I'm only going to be looking at that 7 and that 8. Supplementary is when I have two angles that equal together to equal 180. So these two angles equal 180. So I'm going to make myself a note that a blue plus a pink, or whatever your colors are, is going to equal 180 degrees. Blue plus a pink. Okay, and now we're going to look at some of these special angles here. Some of these special names for these angles. So, we have the first type of angle, which is corresponding. Corresponding angles. And we're going to put that in a box. So we're going to look at some corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are angles that are in the same position. Okay? They're in the same position. So for instance, this 7 is in the top left of this parallel line. It is above my parallel line, and it is, so it's on top and it's to the left. Well, if I look at this, 3 is on top of the parallel line and to the left also, so they are corresponding. So we're going to list all the corresponding. 1 is going to correspond to 5. So 1 and 5 are an example of a corresponding angle. 3 and 7 correspond. And that symbol I'm writing is just, it means angle. Angle 2 is going to correspond to 6. And 4 is going to correspond to 8. Now there's a few things we know about this relationship. So we're going to write the word relationship and box it. For those of you who are new to virtual, we have quite a few that are new to virtual. Sorry, at any point during this video, if I'm going too fast or you need to write something down, the beauty of being on a video is you just pause it and push play when you're ready. So we're going to write a really unusual sign. So it's going to be sideways S followed with 2 lines under it. And that means that they are congruent. Congruent. That means congruent. That tells me, if I notice my 1 and my 5 are both blue, it tells me they're equal. So I'm going to make that note. So if we're going to use angle 7. So angle 7 equals 120. Its corresponding angle 3 would equal what? And I'm going to ask the class to discuss it, but hopefully they'll come up with that it equals 120. Alright, I'm going to go to where that box ended up here, and I'm going to draw a line straight down. And then the next type of angle we're going to look at is, and you want to write, you don't want to write too big, is alternate interior angles. If you want to go ahead and box that, if you want to go ahead and draw your box all the way down, that's okay. So alternate, so when we think of alternate, when something is alternating, it's going back and forth. If I'm alternating between boy, girl, boy, girl, boy, girl, I'm going back and forth, okay? And then interior means inside, so it's going to be on the inside here, okay? So we're going to circle this, and I'm going to put an arrow that says interior, because that's on the inside. So alternate, so going back and forth. So alternate with 5, it's on the left, so it's alternate also on the inside is 4. So angle 4 and 5 is an alternate interior. So we use these, and then these two, angle 3 and 6. We're going to come down here to relationship. Trying to make it look as much like in-person notes would look like. They have a foldable. I put that, first of all, What do I notice about 3 and 6? They're both pink. And because they're both pink, they're equal. So I'm going to put that they are congruent. Congruent. So if I say that angle 5 equals 38, its alternate interior, angle 4, is going to equal what? Well, they're congruent, so they're equal, so it's going to equal 38 also. All right, our next one is alternate exterior angles. I'll box that. So alternate is going back and forth, but this time we're not going to be looking at the inside of those parallel lines. We're going to be looking at the outside of the parallel. Okay, so we're going to be looking on the outside. All right, so alternate is going back and forth. Sorry, I just noticed that looks a little blurry. Let's put it. Okay, so alternate means they're going to be on opposite sides. So we're going to be looking at what is opposite the 7, which is on the exterior. It's on the outside of this parallel. So 7, so angle 7, and angle, well, 1 is on the same side. I want to alternate. So it's going to be 2. And then angle 1 and angle 8. All right, we're going to come down here and look at the relationship. Okay, so let's look at 7 and 2. They are congruent. And draw that funny little shape again. So let's look at angle 1 down here. Let's say that angle 1 equals, it doesn't equal 100, but let's say it equals 100, so it'll match our in-class people. So its alternate interior is 8. So I would want to know, what is 8 going to equal? And because they're congruent, it's also going to equal 100. All right, we have 2 more types. If you can't fit 2 more columns, then you can definitely put one of them down at the bottom if you can fit it. But I'm going to fit both of them there. Go ahead and draw my 2 columns so I know how much room I have. So our next kind that we have is same side interior. Same side. Okay. So now we're going to be looking at the same side, but on the inside. So interior tells me it's going to be in this little bubble here. And same side is going to tell me it's going to be on the same side of this line. Okay. So a same side interior, so 1, 3, 5, and 7 are all on the same side. The 3 and 5 are the interiors. So angle 3 and angle 5. And then let's look, same side as 8, 6, 4, and 2, but only to their interior are angle 4 and angle 6. And come down here, we're going to look at the relationship. Alright. So let's look. We have 3 and 5. Are 3 and 5 the same color? No, they are not. So I'm going to put not congruent. You need to abbreviate, you can. It's not congruent, so I need to look at what's happening there. Remember, we said that blue plus pink is 180. So that would be a blue and a pink. So they are supplementary. Now that is a word that you should have learned the last couple of years. And supplementary means they equal 180 degrees. So let's use angle 6 here. So if angle 6 equaled 130, its same side interior for 6 would be 4. What would angle 4 equal? Well, they're not equal. They're not congruent, so I know that. But I know that those two angles together are going to equal 180. So I know it's going to be 130 plus something is going to equal 180. That something is going to be 50. Because 130 plus 50 equals 180. Again, if you don't have room for the fifth column, you can definitely write it down here at the bottom. I don't care if you add color. I'll show you what I mean in a little bit to kind of help things stand out a little bit. Our final kind that we are going to look at is same side. Maybe at this point you're guessing exterior angles. So they're going to be on the same side. So I'm looking at the same side, 1, 3, 5, and 7. They're all on that same side. But these are my only exteriors. The 1 and 7. So angle 1, I'm having a pencil problem. Angle 1 and angle 7. Now on this side, same side, 8, 6, 4, and 2. These are interior, so those aren't it. So my only two that are same side and are on the outside exteriors is 2 and 8. And their relationship. Sorry, I had to write kind of combine to fit that. So let's look. 8 and 2, are they the same color? No. So they are not congruent. And I'm going to abbreviate congruent. But remember, one is blue and one is pink. We know that blue plus pink is 180. So they are supplementary. Ooh. Which means that they are 180 degrees. So let's look at angle 2. And let's say that angle 2 equals 30, which it obviously doesn't because it's way bigger than 30. And it is a pink. Well, angle 8, which is its partner and the same side exterior, is not pink, so it's not equal. So I know that it's going to be 30 plus whatever angle 8 is, it's going to equal 180. And that combined will be 150. Okay, those are our types of angles for parallel cut by a transversal. Alright guys, that is it for today. If you have any questions, please message me, email me. If some of you still haven't turned in your vocabulary 11 or the homework from earlier this week, guys, remember it is 10 points off each day, even if you're virtual. So please be sure you're taking care of business. If you need any help, just let me know. Bye guys.